Tonight, Clemson Panhellenic plans to add a new sorority, a recap of Four Nations tournament, and time to reflect on the legendary legacy of news anchor and journalist Lester Holt. All right here on Clemson News Now. Welcome and thank you for joining us. I'm Katie Pfeffer.
And I'm Ann Withers. Our first story comes to you from right here on campus. Clemson Panhellenic announced earlier this year that a new sorority chapter will be joining in fall of 2025. Clemson Panhellenic hosted the two potential organizations, Alpha Omicron Pi and Phi Mu, on Monday and Tuesday. Each sorority presented their missions, values, and recruitment plans to the Clemson students in attendance.
Students who attended both sessions were able to provide valuable feedback to help determine which sorority would join Clemson's Panhellenic community. With an increasing interest in Greek life on campus, the addition of a new chapter aims to manage chapter sizes and introduce new traditions to campus. With the new addition, more students will have the opportunity to engage in sisterhood and leadership experiences that the current sororities on campus offer to students now. The Panhellenic Extension Committee will collect student input before a final vote is conducted.
The selected sorority is set to be announced in March, with recruitment events planned throughout the fall. Representatives from the chosen organization will come to campus to connect with interested students and share more about their values and initiatives. This expansion marks a significant step in shaping the future of Greek life here at Clemson, and we're excited to see the impact this change will have on campus.
Turning to national news, Pope Francis remains in critical but stable condition at Rome's Gemelli Hospital as he battles pneumonia in both lungs. The Vatican reports that while his blood parameters are stable, his condition remains serious, though he has resumed some limited work, including approving decrees for potential saints.
Despite his illness, the 88-year-old pontiff met with Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin, marking his first known meeting with senior officials since his hospitalization began on February 14th. He also reached out to a parish in Gaza City, continuing his daily check-ins with the Catholic community there.
As news of his worsening health spreads, thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square for a prayer vigil, evoking memories of the past papal health crises. The moment carried historical weight, with some recalling the final days of St. John Paul II, the previous pope. Doctors remain cautious due to Francis's history of lung complications, which date back to his youth when part of his lung was removed due to illness. While they have reduced his oxygen flow and while his mild kidney insufficiency has not worsened, his prognosis remains uncertain. We extend our thoughts to the Pope Francis and his loved ones, and will provide any updates as this story unfolds.
Next up, we look to Jordan in our sports department with all the latest in Clemson sports.
Thank you, Ann. Well, Tigers, we have a great lineup for you tonight, and it starts on the diamond. Clemson softball defeated Tennessee Georgia 5-3 yesterday, February 26th. The Lady Tigers handed Georgia their first loss of the season, bringing their record to 14-1, and gained their first win against a top 10 team since May of 2022. Alex Brown and Macy Cintron helped the Tigers secure an early lead, hitting back-to-back doubles. Julia Noller and Jamison Brockenbrow also had RBIs, establishing an early 3-0 lead. The Bulldogs came back at the top of the fifth, tying the game at 3. But in the bottom, Kennedy Ariel and Sam Minish were able to cross home plate and seal the Tiger victory. Looking ahead, they have a 3-game lineup taking place at home this weekend against Lafayette, East Carolina, and Indiana for the Tiger Invitational. They'll kick off their long weekend at 12:30 p.m. against the Leopards. So make your way over to McWhorter to see if the Tigers can notch a few more wins before the first pitch of ACC play March 7th against Duke. Clemson baseball also had a big week as they topped North Carolina A&T on Saturday 12-7 and Sunday 4-2 at the Clemson Baseball Invitational. They also managed to survive against VCU 4-3 in a tight battle for the win on February 22nd. The Rams were first to cross home plate, but with a run-scoring double by Trent Adelman. The Tigers answered back immediately following with an RBI from grad transfer Dominic Listy. Pitcher Ethan Darden secured the win with just 6 hits and only 3 walks allowed throughout the duration of the game. After coming off a run rule victory against Winthrop in a midweek matchup 20-7, the Tigers prepare to head to the mound beginning tomorrow night for a 3-game series against the in-state rivals from Columbia. The Tigers will be battling the Gamecocks at 7 tomorrow, Saturday at 1:30, and Sunday at 5. Now over to basketball, where the first season under Coach Sean Poppy begins to wind down. The Lady Tigers fell to Pittsburgh on Sunday 72-59 after having back-to-back wins against Georgia Tech and SMU. Clemson is live and in living color right now on the ACC network, taking on the Louisville Cardinals at the KFC Yum Center. With a win tonight, the Tigers pushed their win percentage to .500 in a season that has already seen a drastic turnaround from a 12-19 record and a 5-13 record in ACC play. Their regular season finale is set for Sunday, March 2nd at 2 in Littlejohn Coliseum, and there's no better way to wrap up a season than with a win at home. And finally, Clemson men's hoops had a huge win against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish last night in Littlejohn Coliseum. They dominated the Irish 83-68, hitting an abundance of milestones along the way. First up, Ian Shefflin absolutely cooked, setting a new career-high 24 points. The Chef also finished the night with 9 rebounds and 2 assists to top off his already legendary game. Victor Locken followed right behind with an impressive 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. The redshirt senior also managed to block 2 shots against the Irish. With this win, Clemson has officially defeated 5 teams this season that coming in were in the top 8 winningest programs in all of college basketball, including Duke, Kentucky, Syracuse, and North Carolina. It also gave Clemson the most wins in school history in ACC play in a single season with 15. With this energy, the future's looking bright for the Tigers and Tiger fans everywhere, with just a few remaining games on the schedule against Virginia, Boston College, and the regular season finale at Littlejohn against Virginia Tech before the ACC tournament tips off in Charlotte, where the Tigers have earned the all-important double bye. And the way these Tigers have been playing as of late, ever since losing in triple overtime to Georgia Tech, you can surely expect a deep run in March Madness like we saw last year when the Tigers made it to the Elite Eight last season. That's just about everything I have for you guys here in the sports department. Back to you, Ann.
Thank you, Jordan. A fatal shark attack off of South Australia's west coast has claimed the life of 20-year-old surfer Lance Appleby. Appleby was surfing at Granite's Beach, southwest, on Thursday evening when police said witnesses saw a shark attack him. Emergency services launched an extensive search, but suspended efforts on Friday afternoon after scouring the water for most of the day. The search has since resumed on Saturday morning.
Originally from South Australia's west coast, Appleby was a talented Australian football player who played for the Tweed Coast Tigers in northern New South Wales. He was set to be named vice-captain this season, and despite missing 6 games, he still managed to win the club's Best and Fairest award. Club president Andrew Ryan described him as an all-round good bloke and a bloody champion man.
The Streaky Bay community has been deeply affected by the tragedy, with friends and locals mourning the loss of a well-loved figure. Authorities have closed the area and urged people to stay away as search efforts continue. The District Council of Streaky Bay has extended its condolences, emphasizing that Appleby was not only a valued community member, but also a cherished son, family member, and friend. We here at Clemson News Now extend our thoughts to the friends and the family of Lance Appleby in this heartbreaking time.
For our next story, we go to Reagan at the WYFF desk located right here on campus.
Desk right here in the Hendricks Student Center with an out-of-this-world story. A man with many titles can now add astronaut to his lengthy resume, including philanthropist, endocrinologist, professor, entrepreneur, and avid pilot. Dr. Richard Scott was one of 6 members making his way to space on the most recent Blue Origin space flight that left out the Texas on Tuesday, February 24th. Scott is a professor at Yale University and as well as USC Greenville, working in his prestigious medical school programs. Scott's venture to space makes him the 4th South Carolina resident to go to space and the 1st since Ronald McNair, who flew on the Space Shuttle Challenger. Scott founded the Foundation for Embryonic Competence, a nonprofit focused on reproductive research. Scott has only served on the national board of the American Fertility Association, one of the largest patient advocacy organizations for fertility care in the United States. The Blue Origin flight was the 13th in its history and the 10th human flight for the New Shepard program. New Shepard flights last approximately 10 to 12 minutes and provide just a few minutes of weightlessness, as well as the view of Earth Earth from the darkness of space. The flight marks the 47th person that has been flown beyond the Kármán line, known as the internationally recognized boundary for space. For Scott, the experience provides just one more title to his name and a story that surely will never get old. That's all I have for you. Back to you in the studio.
One of the main faces of evening news has made the decision to step down and pursue a different opportunity. After becoming the face of NBC Nightly News in 2015, flagship anchor Lester Holt will be leaving the 10-year-long gig. Holt has been working with major news outlets since 1981 when he first joined CBS and worked as a reporter, anchor, and international correspondent. After 19 years with CBS, Holt made his way over to NBC in 2000, in which he took the role of principal anchor for the true crime series Dateline, before becoming the face of the nightly news 10 years ago.
Holt may be stepping away from the news, but not NBC as a whole. He will instead take on a full-time role with Dateline, the show in which he has been the main anchor since September of 2011. Being that he has been a part of NBC for 25 years, Holt has made sure to reiterate his intentions to stay with NBC for years to come. As far as his replacement may be concerned, two candidates have emerged in Hallie Jackson and Tom Yamas. An announcement will be expected sometime in the short future as Holt prepares to step down early this summer. We'll keep you updated as the situation and announcements are made regarding the future of NBC Nightly News.
We now look to our weather department for the upcoming forecast this week. Drew, how's the weather looking for the city of Clemson?
Well, Katie, we've got a lot going on here in Clemson. Tigers, if you were hoping for a consistent forecast, I've got some news for you. Mother Nature can't make up her mind. Let's talk about this weather roller coaster we're in for. Friday starts us off on a nice note with a high of 69 degrees. Just warm enough to make you think spring is around the corner, but don't be fooled. As the sun sets, temperatures dip to a chilly 46 degrees, so you might want to layer up before you head out. On Saturday, we warm up a little more, hitting a high of 71 degrees. Pretty nice, right? Well, don't get too comfortable, because the low drops to a crisp 34 degrees. That's right, Mother Nature is playing a game of hot and cold with us. And then, just when you think you've gotten a handle on things, Sunday hits. Highs of only reaching 56 degrees and the low, 32. Yes, you heard that right, freezing. So if you've been holding out on turning your heat back on this summer, not this summer, excuse me, this might be the time to give in. As for next week, if you are a fan of rainy days, you're in luck. Monday and Tuesday bring showers, so keep that umbrella handy. Temperatures throughout this week will hang out in the mid-60s during the day and drop into the low 40s at night. It's that classic, I need a jacket in the morning, but regret it by noon weather. So stay warm, stay dry, and stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature throws at us, and maybe some summer. Back to you.
Thank you, Drew. The National Hockey League has decided to take a break from its usual All-Star Game format this season and bring back a fan favorite, the Four Nations Tournament, which we haven't seen in the NHL since 2018. The tournament took place at the TD Garden in Boston and at the Bell Center in Montreal, and saw teams comprised of players from the United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. The tournament saw a group stage format in which all teams faced each other, where the top two earned the right to play in the championship game.
After the group stage game between Canada and America saw a 3-1 victory for the Americans, and multiple fights taking place just seconds into the game, one of the greatest rivalries in hockey saw a rematch in the Four Nations Championship game. The Canadians took the early lead after Nathan McKinnon found the back of the net, but he was answered late in the period by Brady Tkachuk. America and Canada both scored in the second period, and overtime was necessary to decide the winner. Ultimately, the Canadians were just too much to defeat twice in a row, and Connor McDavid from the Edmonton Oilers sealed the victory, 3-2 win with the game-winning goal in overtime.
U.S. hockey fans and many U.S. citizens who took interest in the tournament were devastated, especially after previously taking home 4 straight titles from 2015 to 2018. As far as the future of this tournament is concerned, its status is unknown as the NHL will return to its typical All-Star Game format in February next year from UBS Arena, home of the New York Islanders.
That's all we have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in next week for all the latest news nationally to locally. I'm Katie Pfeffer.
And I'm Ann Withers. Clemson News Now.